This is the Current Issues and Analysis Show. I'm your host and presenter, Michael Young. Thanking you again for joining me and letting me into your communities and into your homes. Today we're going to continue where we left off with respect to a program we started some time ago, speaking about Educare. I'm joined by three very important persons who are going to help me to convey this discussion with respect to the program, which aims really to create behavioral change within our society while achieving the highest possible academic results. Quite a bold initiative and program. I'm joined by Sister Kunti Mathura. She is the Director of Education at the Sai Institute of the West Indies, and she's joined by Mr. Rabindra Ruplal. He's the Vice President of the Sri Satya Sai Baba Organization of Guyana, and we're joined by Mr. Robert Kalicharan. He is the National Devotional and Spiritual Coordinator of the Sri Satya Sai Baba Organization of Guyana. Welcome to the Current Issues and Analysis Show. We started our discussion in the first episode of this program about Educare and what Educare was about. I'm pretty sure some persons may have missed that first show that we would have had. Could you give us an update or tell us briefly what the program is about?
The program is about Educare, as we said in the first program, is a philosophy underlying the education of children. It seeks to promote character excellence and academic excellence.
Okay, now we're talking about a number of things. We're talking about academic excellence and we're talking about character excellence. Now, how does one implement such a bold initiative and program within an education system which is really driven in today's society by academic pursuits and ends and values, and it's not necessarily based on high levels of morale and spirituality? How do we address implement such a program?
There are three approaches to implementing Educare. One of the approaches is the integrated approach. The integrated approach specifies that every subject on the curriculum has inherent values, and that if the teacher focuses on the values that are inherent in his or her subject, it is possible through the use of selection of appropriate themes, materials, examples, to infuse the values into the curriculum while delivering the subject matter. Let me give you an example. A teacher is teaching mathematics, and an example such as this one will send a positive message. A farmer has 12 chickens. He shares 4 with his neighbor. How many chickens does the farmer remain with? As opposed to an example like this. A farmer has 12 chickens, 4 are stolen. How many does he remain with? Clearly, in the example that was given first, the value of sharing is being instilled. It is being instilled while mathematics is being taught.
Okay, and that's the second approach with respect, or
that's one of the approaches, the integrated approach. We also have the indirect co-curricular approach. This approach seeks to instill values during the non-academic or the co-curricular activities in which the children participate. So for instance, if we were to take the planning of an outing, there are many values that can be instilled during the course of organizing this activity. For instance, curiosity, spirit of inquiry, fun, friendship, cooperation, reliability, tolerance, punctuality, a host of values, and the teacher does not even have to make mention to the class that these are the values that we are trying to instill. Through the process of working together with the teacher, these values instill themselves, as it were.
Okay. Now,
there is some. The third approach is the direct approach. This approach seeks in an overt, in a systematic manner to bring out or to elicit the values within the children. So essentially, this approach employs 5 teaching techniques. The teaching techniques are silent sitting or tuning in, quotation or thought for the day, singing, storytelling, and the use of group activities. Now, if we take group activities, for instance, some of the activities here may be role play, drama, creative writing, art, but there is one specific activity here that is compulsory, and that's called the follow-up and life application, because the program allows opportunity for the child to practice the value. As a matter of fact, this is the activity that takes the value into the home, where the parent is also able to be transformed. And we have seen it happening. The children experience transformation, the teachers are transformed during the process of delivery, and all those who come into contact with it experience changes which are positive.
What are the partnerships that are necessary for this program to be implemented successfully? Because you would have spoken about the methodology and the 3 different strategies. Now let's talk a little bit about when the children have left this controlled environment of the classroom and they enter the homes, really, which is a different environment, and they're trying to be the change agents within that environment. Obviously, they may be met with resistance and these sort of things. Mr. Rublal, do parents have a role to play in terms of ensuring that the objectives of this Educare program are achieved at home? And what are some of the other results that you can expect once Educare is successfully implemented at the community level?
Well, I'll tell you this. On the contrary, what we are hoping to do is that we are hoping that the children go home and help transform the home. We know that it is vital for parents to be involved in the development of their children. But here is a situation whereby you might have a home where there's a moral breakdown. There are many problems in home. There's a breakdown in discipline. In teaching the children these values at school, we are hoping that when they go home, they might say, if the father is speaking in a particular way, "Daddy, why are you speaking so loudly? Is it necessary? I was taught that I should deliver my speech in a certain way." So here we have transformation at home through that child, and a continuation of that situation. For example, when the child would have gone out to other areas in the society. So it is a reversal of the situation where we had originally, whereby you're expecting parents to teach morals to children. Here is a situation whereby we are introducing the moral transformation at the school level, home level, and internationally. That is what this base is about.
Mr. Kalichuran, your 2 comments on what we're discussing.
With the kids, as long as they have started on it, you see, children, they're open. And if you give them something of value much more than what the environment has to offer, they will hold it tightly, and we're expecting that they will in turn relate that home. And we're also expecting to do some parenting education in Educare in some communities that we've already started some projects.
Are there ideal communities in which Educare should be implemented or that are perfect for the Educare situation, as opposed to communities that may not be ideal, or is Educare applicable to any community, anywhere, regardless of?
It's applicable to any community. Sometimes a community may feel that it does not need it, and we have not encountered any such community. I believe that there is always room for improvement, but as you rightly said, the parent is a critical factor. in this program, and wherever we have to implement in schools, for instance, there is the need for bringing the parents on board. So we are recommending that programs be mounted as well for treating with the parents. First of all, they need to know about the program because they need to give their support to it.
You know, and this has been very factual and down to earth with all of you. You know, some parents and teachers and some different societies are always suspicious of things that they may relate to as cults, things that seek to change the status quo of their society, to interfere with their cultures and their beliefs. Does Educare, have you ever had an experience where Educare has been perceived as such?
I can draw your attention to a situation in Kenya. There are 2 Sai schools there, and the imams, the local imams, were quite suspicious of this thing that was being called free education. So they were invited to interface with the children. At first, they felt that they did not want their children to pray with children who belonged to other religions. And when they were invited to come to the school and to help and to participate, they changed their attitude and they became more open to their children, interfacing and praying with children who belong to different religions.
Okay.
We're not trying really to ask any person to change their religion. That's not the key here. What is important? We want your attitude to be changed. And we see this as the machinery in which we could purposefully do this. We have found over the years at schools, for example, whereby there has been a moral breakdown. Students are fighting students, students are beating teachers, and it seems to me that there is nothing now to seize this behavior. What we are hoping to do is by injecting this Educare situation, is to try to help in that situation, to shift us away. And it is not that we are using a methodology to coerce anyone. No, absolutely. There is no force here. But there is a view that teaching calmly, peacefully, it will help the students to be more stable and to be able to facilitate growth accordingly. So people will be suspicious when they hear about, well, this Sai Baba organization is being involved. Well, look, what is their view? Where are they coming from? But I invite all to, we have meetings whereby we have these discussions in our daily lives, privately, and we have a host of literature. And all are invited to come and take part and see what is it that the Sai organization is about.
Okay. Where has Educare worked before? Where is it being implemented now? And what have been the experiences, apart from Kenya, which I heard about? I think I heard a little bit about Zimbabwe and the experience there. What are some of the other places in Latin America, more specifically South America, the Caribbean countries that Guyana can relate to with respect to such a bold initiative?
In Latin America, there are 181 schools that are using the Educare program.
181.
181. In Brazil, for instance, there are 25 schools where the Educare program is being implemented, and there are 5 Sai schools. In Venezuela, there is a Sai school that the ministry has described as the Rural Model School of Venezuela. And this description has been given by Ministry of Education officials. In Mexico, there are 181 schools that are using the Educare program. As a matter of fact, Mexico is the country where you have most of the schools in the Caribbean region using that Educare program. If we go further afield, the United Kingdom was one of the first countries to implement the Educare program. And one of the first schools where it was implemented was a school by the name of Spencer Park School. It was a boys' school. 30 different languages were spoken there. And when this program was implemented, there were so many benefits that were observed by the inspection authority, the Inner London Education Authority. They saw more positive attitudes on the part of the boys. They saw greater levels of cooperation. They saw more harmony, more unity, more tolerance. And of course, all of this impacted on improved academic performance.
Okay.
In the United States of America, for instance, the Americans were the first set of people to write an international edition of the Values Education book. And that book was like the sprouting ground, as it were, for other countries to do similar programs. So from the international edition, it spread first of all to Trinidad and Tobago, where we were able to do our values education book, and that has been used throughout the Caribbean.
Okay. How many other comments, gentlemen, with respect to your own experiences with this program?
Well, locally, devotees of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba organization, children, even though we haven't got the Educare program as yet, but what little is being taught by this organization, those children are proven examples for the rest of the communities.
We have, for example, in each of our center, we have a teacher who does training. Originally, we used to call it Balvikas training, but now we are calling Sathya Sai education, spiritual education. And essentially, it is the essence of what we are trying to project now. And we have found that the students there are doing well, and if you check at their school, you'll find that they're doing outstanding work at school. All the students, without exception. So we have been doing something here, but we are now trying to put this in perspective. And if when you look at India, Sri Sathya Sai Baba has established primary schools, secondary schools, a university, and the result is tremendous here. The transformation is marvelous. And we just need to look at that, and you'll see the difference.
What I've seen in other countries, academic produces professionals, but blended with Educare, we get good professionals.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for all of your comments again with respect to Educare. As we wrap up now on the current issues and analysis show, I know we would have had quite a lengthy discussion ranging from issues related to the strategy behind the program, whether or not it's suited for societies like ours, and we've also touched on all the issues and perceptions of people. Now, we know that lots of work is going to take place in Guyana with respect to getting such a program established here. Your final comments or your pleas with respect to all of the other persons who may find themselves beneficiaries of this program in the long run if it is implemented in Guyana and with our curriculum?
I think it has a great future in Guyana. I think that it will be accepted because it has so much to offer.
Okay. Mr.
Well, with that in view, we have ascertained a core of teachers, professional teachers, who, with Sister Mathura, will be moving forward to establish such a regime in Guyana. We are hoping that it will succeed well.
Mr. Kalashiran?
I know our kids will benefit from it a lot.
Okay.
I'm certain.
Well, thank you again for joining me in today's show. And thank you very much, viewers, for tuning in to the Current Issues and Analysis show. I'll urge all of you who have access to the World Wide Web and the internet to go and research Educare, to look at some of the different experiences of persons and countries around the world before you yourself accept all that would have been said here. Because as you know, we will be our own scientists and researchers before we actually decide to venture into different fields. You're going to be hearing much more about Educare in the media and in other parts of our society as we progress over the coming weeks and months. I'm Michael Young. Do have a good day. Goodbye.